Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over where to find houseplants for cheaper. I have several different places that I go when I'm trying to find new houseplants for a good price, and I'm going to share them with you today and say kind of the benefits to each and how to actually get them. I'm also going to share a couple of things that I've heard of. I haven't actually tried myself or haven't gotten any plants from there yet, but I've seen good deals. And so I'm going to just run through some of those with you today. The first way I like to get cheap or free plants is by going to family. A lot of times they'll have stuff that you can either take propagations from, or they'll have little offshoots of baby plants that are on their much larger ones, and so you can take those for yourself. So that's what I did with this one. This one was part of a much larger plant that my mom had, and it was kind of getting shaded out because the plant that she has was like this big, and this one was way underneath it, and it wasn't growing for a couple months. And so I asked if I could just take the smaller one out and repot it, and if I could have it. And she said, yeah, of course. I repotted it in this, and it has been thriving since getting it in this. When she first got the plant, this did nothing. It was just a few of these leaves towards the bottom. And ever since repotting it, I have 4 new leaves with a new one on the way. And so it has been thriving since repotting it, just because it's getting more of the nutrients from just being in the soil alone. And then also it's getting all the sun it needs, and it's not being shaded out by the other plants. One great way to get things is to see if any family members have stuff that they're willing to give you, or even give you cuttings from. So another way I got that was right here. I got this pothos from my grandma, and I asked her if I could take some cuttings, and she said yes. So I took 2 stems worth of cuttings, and they had about 8 leaves all together, and then I cut each leaf off at the end, so I made 8 new plants with it. Make sure you're cutting right by the node, and so you know that roots will come out. But I cut them in Minnesota and then took them on an airplane ride in the middle of December to Arizona and propagated them once I got back. And then in about April or May, I finally potted it in this pot, and it has been thriving ever since. It has gotten so bushy, it is so full, and I love the coloring on it with the marble-like look. It is so pretty, and every time I see it, I think of my grandma. So it's also fun to get plants from family or friends because it's a memory of them, and when you see it, you kind of think of them. So that's another fun way to think of family. So love this one. Here are also 2 cuttings that I took from my mom. She had a plant, and I asked if I could take a couple of cuttings. And so I had these propagating for the past month or so, and I just planted them in the soil about 2 days ago. So hopefully they'll transfer over well, and they'll start sending off new leaves. This one I'm a little bit nervous about, but we'll see. And then this one seems to be doing good. It's gotten a little softer, the leaves, since repotting it, but I think that's just from the stress of repotting it. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on both of these to see how these end up going. And just like my first plant, I took this aloe piece off from a much larger plant and repotted it in this alone. And it has been doing really good. When I first got it, it was quite mushy, and it just didn't feel that healthy. But in the past month, I've been keeping a close eye on it, and it has gotten much healthier. And the aloe leaves, they're called leaves? I don't know. They feel like how they should. And so I'm very happy with how this has transferred over. That is how I get a lot of plants for free. And like I said, it's always fun to have a memory of the person who gave it to you as well. And it comes with an interesting story. You could also set up a thing where like, oh, I have this plant and you have that plant, so let's swap cuttings, and then you can get more plants that way too. That would be another fun way to get some plants for free. Another way I like to get cheap plants is by going to estate sales. There are always estate sales going on, and if you go on the app estatesales.net, you can check to see if you have any in your area, and you can go through pictures and see if they have any houseplants in their pictures. A lot of times they do, I've found. And they sell the plants for a lot cheaper than you would normally get them in the store. And also, most of the time, they come in their own pots already, and so you don't have to buy an extra pot to go along with it. So you kind of get 2 for 1, and it's usually cheaper than what you would get in a store anyway. So that is a very fun way to get houseplants, and it almost feels like a treasure hunt too, as you're like looking through the photos, and then you go to the house and hope that they're still there, and go go around there. And you can also always find some other little goodies at estate sales. They're always fun to go to. That is another way that I love to get estate sale plants. So I got this one here. And from the same estate sale, I also got this little guy. It's actually starting to finally produce a new leaf since getting it, so that's exciting. But yeah, so you can get a decent sized plant. I think I paid less than $20 for these two. So that was a great deal. Another plant that I got at an estate sale was this snake plant, and I also have a larger one in my bedroom that actually came from the same plant. They gave it to me for free along with the pot in my room because it was not doing well. It was on the brink of death, and I said, could I have it? And I was asking how much it was, and they said, oh, just take it for free. So you can sometimes get free plants from estate sales, especially if they're not doing very well. This has come back to health so much. I'm so impressed with how it was able to bounce back. I think the problem was it was getting overwatered, and it was in this massive pot that was just really damp at the bottom. So I took it completely apart. I split all the tinier snake plants into this pot, and then I took the bigger ones and then put them in a different pot. And I made sure that they were in something that had great drainage so that it wasn't getting root rot. I really washed down the roots too before repotting them, and it has been thriving. It took about 2 to 3 months before I really started to see it come back. I thought for sure they weren't gonna make it, but recently they have been doing so well. So I have been so happy about that I was able to save them. So that's always exciting too, trying to take on a problem plant and see if you can bring it back to life. I mean, not always will you, and I'll show you one that has not been doing well, but most of the time you can bring them back. So here is that same snake plant. This is the bigger version of it, and it has a baby coming up, so that's why there's one small one in here. But it came in this giant pot, and I put it in to one that was this size, and I just leave it in the same pot towards the middle. At some point I might get something in it too to kind of fill up with like rocks or something on the inside, but for now it is doing so well. And this part, I still have it tied up because I feel like it will start to go out like this, but the leaves itself are so much healthier, just thicker. The last ones felt mushy, and you could easily like bend it. It would just completely fall down. And this, I don't know if you can see, that is perking right back up. Again, very happy with how these came back to life. Okay, another plant that I got from an estate sale was this nice spider plant. It has a bunch of little baby spider plants growing on it too. And those started right after I got it, so I was very happy to see that this one was doing very well in my house once I got it back. And finally, the one that is not doing so great, like this little Christmas cactus. And since I repotted it, it was also in here, and this was not getting good drainage, and so I was repotting it. And I repotted this one into a different container, and it has been struggling. And I don't know why or how to make it go back. The leaves are really sad. I don't know if there's even any way at this point that I can save it. The leaves are wrinkly and just not thick like they're supposed to be. So if you have any ideas of what I should do with that, should I just throw it at this point, or is there anything else that I could try to do to save it? It has not been doing well. This is the worst plant I have. So you're not always gonna win with plants. But that is how I get my estate sale plants. I think that was most of them that I got. Oh wait, I also got this Gaster Aloe one, and this one wasn't actually even in the dirt, and this one was kind of just thrown in there with no dirt or anything. And so I was able to repot it, and it has been doing great. So there's that one. And a lot of times, another great way or reason to go to estate sales is you may have gotten a very cute plant at a store or a nursery, and they don't come in a pot. And so it's a great way to find just cheap pots. A lot of times they'll have pots for sale at really good prices with no plants in them, but it's a great place to find what you're gonna store them in. So another reason to go to estate sales. Oh, I also got this big guy over here from an estate sale too. It's been doing okay. It hasn't been my favorite plant so far, but it's fine. I got it for super cheap, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, up next, I have this big guy. Now this one I got from Costco. Costco has some great deals on plants at certain times of the year, and recently they had a bunch of tropical plants in, so I was able to snag this one up. It was only $34. When I was looking online for some, I was seeing them at all different price points, but none as cheap as $34. And so I was very happy to get this one picked up. They have a ton of different ones. I was also looking at a fiddle leaf fig at the same time, but I figured just get one at a time. But they are an excellent price. at different times of year, they'll sell different kinds of plants. I would check Costco every once in a while if you have a membership to see if they have any new plants in. Another place I have loved to get plants is from Aldi. So actually that first one that I showed you that I got from my mom, she got her plant originally from Aldi, and that thing is massive. And you can get some pretty big plants or plants that will grow quite large for a pretty decent price. This one was, I believe, $12.99, and it is doing so well. They've always transferred back to my house really well, and I haven't had any issues with them dying off in a couple of months. And so I highly recommend checking out your local Trader Joe's to see what kind of plants they have. They also have like much tinier ones for sale all the time, and they have flowers and you can get bouquets there. It's just a great place all around to get some different kinds of house plants and also any bouquets for maybe a loved one who you're wanting to get one for. But I have always loved going there, and they're always having different selections too, so it's fun to check it out and see what's new, and you can also get some grocery shopping done at the same time, which is never a bad thing. Okay, this is a little awkward to hold, but this is another one that I got from Trader Joe's, and I love this plant. I knew since I started wanting to have a bunch of houseplants, I wanted this plant. I just love the way they look. They're so tropical looking, and I was very excited to see that they had these at Trader Joe's, and this was only $12.99, and this thing is massive. And so I was very happy to see that, and when I got this home, I was very excited to get it right into my bedroom, so I have a tropical vibe in there, and it's just so fun to watch it grow. I have had 2 new leaves, and hopefully I will be getting 2 more new ones soon, but it is just so fun, and it was a great deal too, so definitely recommend Trader Joe's. Oh, I forgot to mention, I also got this little guy from Trader Joe's. They always have seasonal vases too, so it's a fun place if it's around a holiday to go and see if they have any holiday themed things. So I got this one at Easter, and it's just a cute little way to display your flowers, and they have a ton of these. I've seen owls there and a bunch of other different animal shapes. Great place to go to see for seasonal stuff as well. Okay, another place I have gone for plants before is Aldi. Now I got these 3 cactus in tiny little containers for $3.99. I had to be really careful when planting them. They're pokey. I just got some, I had some like paper that had been used to wrap up something to keep it safe, and I twisted that up to grab the prickly part and plop it in the hole, and that seemed to work really well for that. Aldi sometimes has, recently I've seen mums there, and they have just a bunch of different kinds of plants there. So I've also seen orchids there quite a bit. Just every once in a while, I'll pop in at Aldi and see if they have anything. They're usually a pretty reasonable price. And finally, I'm gonna share with you some places that I always like to look around and see if they have anything from. I haven't been collecting plants for long, and so I haven't gotten any from there yet, but I always like to take a look and see if there's anything new. A lot of times not look the greatest, but I always like to check in Walmart to see if they have anything for a really good price. Sometimes they have sales, and that would be a good time to get a plant from there. And they do have quite a variety of stuff. Sometimes it just might not look all that great, so that's what has kept me from getting some in the past, but it's always fun to look and see if they have anything that looks interesting. Another place I like to look is like Home Depot or Lowe's. They always have a quite large plant section, and so fun to look around there and see if they have any deals. And I should go back there soon to see if they have any deals. As seasons start to change, they might start switching out some for another, and so that would be another place to go and look for plants. Another place that I've seen a lot of people selling their plants is on Facebook Marketplace. I'll always like look through and see if there's anything that looks interesting on there. Sometimes people even have things for free, and you just need to go and pick it up, and so that would be another good place. Just make sure that you're safe when doing that and meeting random people. But other than that, those are mostly my recommendations for where to find cheaper plants, and so hopefully this will give you some ideas for where to go next. I would say the main places that I have gotten most of my plants are from family members just gifting me parts of their plants and stuff. I never take the whole thing, and their plants are fine, but just getting a little bits of them and stuff. And then I would say next would be from estate sales. I have been loving looking for estate sales. It's almost like a treasure hunt, and so it's been fun to try to find some new and interesting plants from there. And then third, I would say I've gotten most of my plants from Trader Joe's. They just have such good deals on plants. In the past, I've also got a bunch of fresh herbs from Trader Joe's, so that's a great place if you're wanting to get some fresh herbs to start like an herb garden or something. So I would definitely say that would be my third biggest place to go for plants. But leave in the comments where you like to get your good plants, and if I'm missing out any, I would love to know where to find some better deals on plants. Plants can get expensive. You should also check out your local nursery and support people who grow things from you locally. I like to go to this one place that's close by me, and I have gotten tomatoes and peppers and some outdoor flowers from them. And so you always want to make sure that you're shopping local too and helping to support people in your own community. So those are just some of my ideas. And if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.